It's a Tuesday afternoon, one of those Tuesdays that makes you realize just how long a week can go and how long it's going to be to get to the weekend. One of those kind of Tuesdays that reminds you about what life is like when your friend calls. She calls and says, "I need to talk. Meet me at Blackbird Cafe downtown." And she hangs up. And so you go down to Blackbird, and by the time you get there, she has already arrived. She's sitting at one of those little round tables, and she has in front of her one of the largest cups of coffee you have seen in your life. And she's staring at it and holding on with both hands as though it is a life raft, desperately holding on to this. And by the tremor in her hands, it looks like this must be her fourth refill. But she's just staring into this cup of coffee, just staring. Doesn't even notice when you come in. Doesn't notice as you walk by to go place your order, fill your cup, come and sit down. She's just staring until you clear your throat and she sort of jumps. You say to your friend, "You wanted to talk?" She said, "Yeah. God wants me to go to Syria." I'm sorry? God wants me in Syria. He told me last night. He told me there's somebody in ISIS that I'm supposed to go talk to and give a message for him. He wants me in Syria, and that's crazy. So no, I'm not going. There's no way I'm going to Syria. I don't care what God says. I am not going. That's Syria. That's ISIS. No, I'm not going. I'm not going. Don't tell anybody. And she gets up, and she walks out the door. About a week goes by. Another afternoon, the phone rings. And it's your friend. "I need you, Blackbird, now." By the time you get there, she's again in the same, sitting behind the same table, same cup of coffee, holding on, but this time she's looking a little nervous. This time she's looking a little sullen, like she's resentful as she's sitting there. She's staring into this cup again, doesn't even notice as you walk in, go past, get your drink, sit down, you have to clear your throat, and she startles again. So, did you go to Syria? She scoffs. "No, I told you I wasn't going to go. I was running away. I ran away to where God couldn't find me. There was no way I was going, so I ran away, and turns out God really wants me in Syria, and it did not go very well." And you can watch her eyes kind of glaze over. You know, like when you're remembering something and it doesn't look like it's much fun, her eyes glaze over, and then she sort of shivers. "Yeah, that was not a good idea," she says. "Turns out God really wants me in Syria, so I guess I have to go." And then all of a sudden she looks hopeful. She says, "You could come with me. Why don't you come with me? We could go together. It won't be fun, but it'll be something, and we'll be together. We could do this together. We can go, do what God says. We'll be there together. Won't you come with me? We can go together. Come with me to Syria." Another week goes by. No phone call. Another week goes by. No Facebook posts. You drive by the house and the newspapers are stacking up there in the driveway. You're starting to wonder, when do you think about filing a police report, and what do you say? "God kidnapped my friend." And the time is dragging on, and you are worried when your phone rings. "Blackbird, now." You get there, and she's there first, sitting at her table, again the same cup of coffee, but this time her hands on that cup are talons. She is trembling with rage. Her eyes are murderous. You can feel those waves of anger coming off of her. Again, she is staring, doesn't even notice as you go by, and you sit down, and by the time you get there, she has taken that mug, and she is dragging it from side to side on the table as though she can take the finish off of that wood just by the force of her fury. You sit down and you're not sure you want to say anything. So, yes, I went. You went to Syria. I did. And what did God have you do? I told you. There's somebody in ISIS he wanted me to go tell. And I knew this was going to happen. You knew this. I knew this was going to happen. I went and I told him that God was done. God's patience had long run out. God had had it with them, and that was it. Their time was up, and God was done. And do you know what happened? I knew it would work this way. They listened. I knew it. They changed, and they listened, and they paid attention, and God changed his mind, and he did not smite them. There was no lightning. There was no meteor. There was no nothing. God decided to forgive, and how dare he? How could he do that? How dare he care about people like that? This is ISIS. How could God forgive people like that? And she says, you know what's worse? I thought with all the things I had said to God, by running away, by hiding, by going, the things that I said, I thought that we were done. That God had had it with me and I would be finally done with him, because I certainly am done. But you know what? He talked to me last night. He's got another message. And it's here in town, and I know these people. I know that family. And they are the worst. I can't stand them. And now God wants me to go and talk to them and give them a warning. And I just know what's going to happen. I just know what's going to happen. God's going to change his mind again. And how dare he? How dare he care about people like that? How can God do that? How can God care about people like that?